Welcome to the complete animation of 22 from Pixar's Soul. So, Soul is an interesting movie. I saw the commercials. The teaser commercial for it where it just shows that the main character Joe, he dies like unexpectedly and he goes to the afterlife, where you go like, right after you die, and he does not like it. And so that's the general premise. It's a guy who died too early and didn't want to do that, and that's not a new concept. Like, I'm sure other movies have dealt with that sort of subject before, but more recently, the movie that I've seen that really shows that is All Dogs Go to Heaven, from that Don Bluth made. It's where in that it's a similar thing. A guy was killed, in the prime of his life, and when he got to, the hereafter, he's just like, oh, I really wish I could go back. And then it's a big bit about how he goes back. So, yeah. But the twist here is that it turns out that Joe meets this character, 22, who has been in the premortal life for eons, basically. And it's kind of interesting. She doesn't really want to go to Earth, and he does, and so there's the whole dynamic of trying to do that. Now, I'll be level with you. The main story of Joe and 22 was not my favorite. It was good, like I enjoyed it, but like the thing that stuck out to me the most when I finally got around to watching Soul is all of just the visual and audio spectacle. Like when Joe first goes to the hereafter and he's riding that big escalator to go into the great beyond, that was just such an impactful moment for me. The blank emptiness of space and the feeling of immensity that it was able to convey. It was a treat. And that is why I wish that I was able to see this movie in theaters. Just a big screen with good surround sound. Holy cow. I wish I could have seen this movie in theaters just for that. And then there's these characters that are in the hereafter. There's all the Jerrys, just basically all of the sort of caretakers there are all named Jerry, which is really cool. And their visual design is out of this world. Oh my goodness. All the Jerrys are just so cool. They're these weird, abstract, humanoid sort of things made out of mostly line and just like flat color shading. And it's like, that's pretty cool on its own, the abstract design. But what really makes it is the way they move. It's like, it really leans into showing abstract 2D characters in a 3D world. And it is so awesome. Like, my guess is that in the future, I might just make another complete animation from this video just about the Jerry or Terry. I think that Terry stole the show for me. He is just such an amazing character. He is a guy who is devoted to his job. His job is basically keeping the tally of all the souls that go to Earth and all the souls that leave Earth. And he does not make mistakes. And when he does make a mistake, he works tirelessly to correct it. And all of Terry's hijinks of running around the Earth, hiding in shadows or hiding in architecture, and then setting traps. Oh my goodness, like, Terry is... Yeah, Jerry and Terry. Those are, in my opinion, the best characters in this show. But I think that one of the other things that really got to me was the music. It's like, if you've watched WALL-E and you've seen, that sort of establishing shot where WALL-E just barely gets on the tram and is going through the main atrium of the Axiom, the big ship that they all live on. That part of WALL-E had a very specific mood and sort of musical flair. And I feel like the music in Soul, for things in, the hereafter and whatever, I feel like they wanted to sort of take those vibes that were first explored in WALL-E and really explore those with this sort of ethereal, otherworldly sort of sound. And that sort of sound, that sort of music is something that really speaks to me. Like in the game StarCraft, the Protoss music, especially, I think if you listen to the soundtrack, it's Protoss 2. Like, that music really gets to me with just how well it just captures the immensity of space and having sort of like a regal traveling through it. Yeah, and so they had some of that in WALL-E, but it feels like they wanted to really explore that more here in Soul. Now, Soul has basically three big visual styles. There is the souls themselves, which are these sort of cartoony, puffy sort of characters. Then there are then there's sort of like the landscapes in the hereafter, where it's sort of this bluish, purplish land of, soft grass and rolling hills. And then there's the real world, and then there are the Jerrys and Terry. Now, the real world in Soul is interesting because it's like, if you look at the state of modern CG animation, you'll see that Disney's Tangled basically set a precedent that a lot of the industry would end up following for years to come. Like, even Pixar started using a bit of it. If you look at Coco, it's like, Coco's an amazing movie, but if you look at the humans in Coco, you're like, oh yeah, like, it's sort of following what Tangled had to do. But Soul was able to find a happy medium. In the real world in Soul, it has a very realistic, grounded art style, except for the human proportions, which is really nice. Like Joe, he does not look anything at all like, oh, Captain What's His Face from Frozen 2. It's like Joe, he has really cartoony features. He has like sort of a bulbous mouth and then a long skinny head. And it works. It works. I really like it. And it is nothing at all like the industry standard that was set by Tangled. And I think that's one of the things that I've really liked about the new things that are coming out from Pixar. It's like Onward. Onward is a good movie. I really liked it. But within, its art style of, I mean, like within its world, with its main characters being elves, it's like, oh yeah, these are, that art style, but, put onto these fantasy creatures. And it works. But my problem is that art style has been done to death. Just so much. And so Pixar moving away from that has been such a breath of fresh air. Like, just take a look at Luca. Luca, the faces in Luca are nothing at all like that. They are very, cartoony. And Luca was also a very good movie. I recommend it. And so I really like what they're doing. And if you look at, let's see, I'm recording this on March 11th, and Turning Red just came out. Haven't seen it yet. But from the trailers, that one, it feels like Turning Red is sort of also exploring, the style that they did in Luca with, yeah. So I think that Pixar is turning a corner. In fact, Lightyear, which comes out later this year, it also has a very distinctive art style that some of the characters look kind of like the style pioneered by Tangled, but not completely. And so I think that's one of the things that made me like Soul so much. Just I haven't seen anything that looks like it. In fact, there are just so many characters in the human world that look really good. So yeah, here's a little bit of Terry. Terry is, oh my goodness. I honestly might just have to make another complete animation just to have Terry in it, because he's so good. But Soul is it. I said my remark when I first saw Soul is it felt like another Up. It's a movie where basically everybody who watches is like, yeah, Pixar, you made a good movie. But I don't think that anybody's favorite movie is Up, and I don't think anybody's favorite movie is Soul. And there's room in the world for all of that. It's like, not every movie has to be, the absolute best thing that the studio has ever made, or a sequel to one of those. Like, yeah, like, I have weird standards. I am perfectly able to enjoy lots of animation, even if it isn't my favorite. And Soul is not my favorite movie ever, but it does things that I have never seen or heard anywhere else. And that is why, hopefully when, I graduate from law school and am able to afford nice things, when I have enough money to make my own real home theater with a premium display with HDR and really good surround sound, I want one of the first movies I watch to be Soul, because I want to watch this movie with a premium experience one day. Because that's how much I feel like it does audiovisually. And who knows, maybe by then, the story it tells will resonate more with me. And I'll like it for more than just its visuals and audio. Maybe I'll like the characters and the journey they go through even more. But yeah, this has been the complete animation of 22 from Soul. A movie that has a lot to offer, and yeah, I want to watch it again sometime. Thank you so much for watching.